around the corner, and this is the better moment to talk about new line of action figures. And these figures are called Lords of Power, and they are made for a guy from Italy like me. And his name is Emiliano Santalucia. Welcome back, Emiliano. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you to come back. I'm very happy to have you because with this channel, with this show, I like to support people like you that create new stuff and something new because I think the collectors deserve that, something new. So the first question, before to talk about Lords of Power, tell me something about All Start Formo Toys, the story of Formo Toys.
Okay, well, for a very long time, me and my friend Per Browner have been talking about doing something on our own. Per is a fellow designer and a modeler, 3D modeler, and he works with in the toy business too. And we are good friends. He visited me many times. We met in San Diego, and we shared the passion for Masters of the Universe and other toy lines. And we always said to each other, well, it would be cool to do something on our own, to create our own toys together. But we never actually did anything because, there is to do toys, to make toys, you need to have a lot of things lined up in the right way. The stars need to align in a certain way so you can actually go and try to produce toys. And well, that at one point actually happened. We had a lead to have a factory in China to produce our toys, and we started saying, okay, let's do it. Let's think about something that we want to do. And we started playing with some ideas, and we said, okay, we can do it. We have everything we need. We need to start a company to do these toys. So we immediately involved Joshua Van Pelt, which is my dearest friend, which is handling everything that is not the creative part of Formo Toys. We say, okay, you're going to be the CEO of our company, and you're going to do everything else that we are not doing. We gave him the boring parts, but there's nobody that would trust more than Joshua. So we set up the company, and we started talking to the factory, but then COVID struck, and everything slowed down for a year basically. And then when we started back again talking about how to do it, well, the company was set up already. Something else happened that I'm not ready to talk about, and projects we had going kind of switched place, and we ended up working with on Lords of Power. But this is like the short version of events that led us here. So I'll let you continue from here.
Okay, and now we talks about Lords of Power. All start this concept when you discover this idea in yourself.
Well, I must say, Lords of Power is the starting point of something, but is also the end point of other things that came before. Many ideas that I had, things that I wanted to do with other companies. We had all these ideas of stuff we wanted to do, and we weren't using them. So we put all these designs and ideas together and say, okay, what we can do with this? And Lords of Powers, as an intellectual property, started to take form. And we look at what we had, we picked what would work best for our project, and we started building this brand around these designs, writing ideas for the story, picking the right designs, tweaking the designs for what we had in mind in terms of products. But as I was telling before, this wasn't our first project. Our first project was this little fella or these little fellas, which are a basic idea that we're not ready to talk much about it, but it's something that is brewing somewhere else, and we're thinking about it, how to bring these toys to the public, but not ready yet. So at one point we had Lords of Power. Well, they weren't even called Lords of Power at that point, in the back burner, waiting like for the company to launch and have our first products. Something happened that suggested us, well, why don't we do these figures, the Lords of Power, now instead of our dream project for later? And we started working on it, and everything happened very fast. We trademarked the name, we picked the name, trademarked the name Lords of Power. We worked on the sculpts, and then it was happening, and we had to reveal it and start working with the factory, etc. So it happened kind of by accident, but from then on it was something that catched fire, and we couldn't stop it. We had to do it.
In my opinion, is typical of the art in general for the project in the art that sometimes the stuff that comes out is almost casual. Maybe you work in other stuff and almost casual, something appears in your destiny in your way.
Yeah.
And it's typical in the art because when you work so hard with something, this stuff become a little bit tricky, in trouble, and other stuff that you put away for whatever reason comes out because it's the perfect moment for that. So that's typical in general for the art. But now I want to talk more about that because I go to your website, the Formo Toys website, when I got also the news that I shared a few months ago, and I got a good many response by the fans about this news. Everybody asked me what is this figure. I told them wait, because Emiliano will come back in the future to talk about it. So there's many people that are looking for that. I saw that in the home page of your site that there are 6 figures, but in the first wave are scheduled 4 or 6 figures. The first question is
6. First wave is 6 figures.
Okay, now we take a closer look about the storyline, because I believe, because I watched the style of this figure, that maybe the universe of this story is fantasy war or a little bit sci-fi in the same time.
Yeah. Well, we'll start with a very fantasy environment. We will slowly introduce sci-fi elements. I mean, we had this bit of the story introducing the words of Lord of Power, where we say that this heroes travels through these secret wells located in this castle Dragonstone. But this is the first time I'm talking about it. I mean, this will take place over many dimensions, many worlds, across many universes. And they all travel to these wells. They jump in and they find themselves in other worlds and explore them and find new allies and new enemies all the time. So the story will revolve around this exploration of these many worlds and dimensions. And yeah, it starts fantasy, and because we will explore so many different places, we will find all kinds of creatures and sci-fi elements and robots and characters. It will be very, very. It will have a variety of concepts and figures and characters in it. This is as we gave a title for this first wave, which is the beginning, because it's really just the beginning. It's just a little glimpse of this world. These are the main heroes, and they will travel, and this will expand a lot. Hopefully, like if the fans will support it, if we'll be able to sell these figures, then it's opening a lot of possibilities.
Cool. Also, because I think that, for example, the Motu fan can be inside this new world because you can find some reference because it's so. For example, the staff of Derlock, the bad guy, the evil guy. I saw in this the stuff, the magic stuff that he has, some reference that you can find also in the movie version of Skeletor. I'm correct for that?
We have little homages to stuff we like in this line. Definitely, we'll have some stuff that is it's remembering other things that we loved in other movies, etc. We're not exactly copying stuff, of course. We wouldn't do it, but we just like to do little homages in accessories, etc.
Okay, we take a look. Do you have some prototype there?
I do. I have all the prototypes we showed at Lucca Comic Convention here, and I will show them being very careful because last time I did it, I broke a piece. These are prototypes, so they are 3D printed. I'll show you one while we talk. I have Zarella, which is our female lead in the story, and these are 3D printed prototypes, hand painted. So they are very brittle. Like if I drop it now, she will fall apart and probably break. So I'm trying to be very careful. So these are not fully functional prototype, meaning that the joints are not the joints you will find in the figure. As we explained, these figures will be modular. You will be able to detach each part and swap pieces. Probably Zarella is the wrong figure to show this because she will have some smaller joints compared to the male's figures because of the size of the figure, but she will be compatible with other female characters in the line. But all other figures, like she will have the same joint that other figures will have. So you will be able to swap pieces between all the figures will create, all the figures all creators will create over the line. So the more figures will produce in the future behind Wave 1, all of them will be compatible, and you will have many more chances and possibilities to swap pieces and put them together. But yeah, coming back. Yeah, this is Zarella.
Cool. She has also an alternative ad because I saw on the website a picture of her with a helmet.
Yeah, it's not it's an actual helmet.
Okay.
It's this one, and you can just put it on the head of the figure.
Cool. So the helmet is removable.
Yes, she has a removable helmet. The armor is also removable. See, there is. Yeah, I'm dropping pieces. There is of course, this is not working. Like this is a solid piece attached to the figure. But here is a little peg, and you can detach the peg and remove the armor from the neck, and remove all the piece from her chest. So she has the removable helmet, the removable armor, and her weapon too.
I like also this idea to the swappable part because is something they could do customized stuff for your customers because maybe they can mesh up your characters and create something new with your line.
That's what we want. That's what we want to give people to have chance to swap parts and create their own figures, etc. I have a bunch of pieces here that are, again, they're just resin pieces, 3D printed.
yeah.
But you can, so I can't actually like attach this leg here. It doesn't have, it's not the material that is supposed to be the final product. So it's not PVC. But imagine if this was PVC, you could just snap this leg here. It will fit.
Cool.
And so you can see like this leg as a port and a peg. And the peg is always the same in all parts.
So also you can change also only the feet of your figures.
You can change every part. I mean, some figures have less modular part because we didn't want to break the anatomy in a certain way, but certain figures like the Adversary, every part is modular. You have the chest that is, and the pelvis that is removable. Then you have the thigh with the knees. Sorry.
No problem.
And then you have the arm too.
Cool.
Arm attached here. And then you have, let me see if I can find them because they're not here. I have them. Just a second. Okay, here are some examples. Okay, this is the leg, and you have the feet with the shin.
Cool. So there are a lot of options to customize with these figures.
Yeah, and here is, well, it's not the right arm, but the hand with the arm.
Cool. And speaking of the accessories, how many accessories have these figures in general? I know maybe
mostly like we want to follow the pattern of 80s toys, where there weren't a lot of accessory with each figure. But so we have like, mostly they have one weapon. Some have, like Zarella, they have the removable helmet. And they have some removable armor. Like Darlock has a removable armor and a removable belt. Let me take him. Here's Darlock. So you still have the option to swap also armor pieces with them. Okay.
Cool.
So here is Darlock.
This is the
main
evil,
yeah,
the big evil of the story. Tell me something about also the story of the character. For example, for Darlock, what is his backstory?
Well, I don't want to reveal too much yet.
Okay.
We will have our reveals. We have some stuff in our schedule to reveal also the story of the characters. But I mean, it's a dark magic apprentice. Is somebody that is seeking power and studying magic, and somehow his experiments with black magic and dark magic got him kind of sick or transformed in a way, rotten at his core. And so his soul is rotten, but also his body, because the way he has been handling dark magic, and dark magic has a toll on him, has got a toll on him. So you see, it's not like, it doesn't look healthy, basically. You see his skin tone.
The cape is soft goods or is plastic?
Yeah, we want to have soft goods for the capes. Cool. Like the old toys too. Everything we're trying to do is to also reproduce the feeling of vintage toys. Not everything is reproducible. Like maybe certain parts won't be exactly the same plastic used in vintage toys. But for the most part, we want to just have this product to feel almost like they were produced in the 80s. So yeah, if we do a cape, it will be soft good, or maybe in other figures, the cape may be vinyl cape, stuff like that. We just love to try to imagine what the companies in this time would have done with these figures, and it's extremely fun. It's, of course, it's limiting in what we can do, but it's very, it sparks creativity, because we have to imagine to live in that world and work with the tools we had at that time and in that world, and come up with solutions to do our toys with with that technology. Basically, we're taking a few licenses here and there, of course.
Cool. I like this idea also because nostalgia vibes with something new is interesting concept to create something new. I like that this idea to do that. I think it comes also with the stuff, a magic stuff I saw on the
Yes.
website.
Yeah. Here's the stuff. It's black, so it's kind of hard to see. Well, let me.
Yes, this one in this one I saw some reference of the Skeletor Evoc stuff of the movie of designed by William Stout. I recognize something about that in this stuff, some reference. And in your background, I saw a bigger version of him.
Yes, I have those. Those were display pieces we had in Lucca.
Okay.
Just because we wanted to. I mean, we had our prototypes on display. We had Castle Dragonstone as a backdrop for our figures, and we also wanted to have something that caught people attention when they were passing our booth. So I said to Pierre, why don't you do a very big version of Barbaro for our booth? And he did it. We loved it. And then he said, well, I also want to do a Derlock for our booth. So he surprised me with Derlock figure, and we were able to have both on display. And I can say people were passing by and noticing that. It was very fun. And of course, they are so nice that we're thinking maybe someday we should do also like rotocast big version of our figures if they are successful. That will be extremely fun.
Finger
Sorry,
crossed.
there is other stuff in the middle. Like I just got this Power Ranger piece that I designed for Hasbro, so it's kind of in the mix right now.
So you designed also Power Rangers for Hasbro?
Yeah. Because my former boss from Transformers got moved to Power Rangers. John Warden is now the lead designer of Power Rangers Ghostbusters. So I got involved with Power Rangers right away, and I did a lot of cool stuff. Like just this Friday, they revealed this giant Megazord that I worked on.
I know because I did the full coverage for that, so I know. When Hasbro comes out with something new, I become busy because it's a channel also of toy news, so I need to do many videos of that. But I like it because of this bunch of video with this channel. I'm able to pay my taxes, so I'm happy for that. But back to your line. Do you have other prototype? Maybe prototype.
Yeah, I have all of them here. Let's pick Pantera next. I don't have a sword because it's the piece that I broke last time. I did a live video, but the figure is perfect yet still.
Oh yes, I remember this one in the website. I saw that. She's a anthropomorphic character.
Yeah.
Very cool. Also, this one has the armor removable. Something is
Yes,
removable.
yes, the armor is removable, and so she comes with the removable armor, same process of Zarella. There is the peg, and by detaching the head, you can remove the armor, and she has this sword too.
So, but the swappable part, is possible to do that also mixed a female character, a male character, or the female
No,
are swappable?
no, because as you can see, the pegs are much smaller.
Okay, it's the
Basically,
same.
I mean, there are some pegs will be bigger, like it will be the same of the male character. I don't want to force it right now, but this peg and these pegs, the both pegs here and here and here, they will be the same of the male characters. Shoulders and head have to be smaller to keep the female anatomy intact, but they will be compatible with other female characters.
So
It's just
in the first wave, we have three good guys and three evil characters. It's correct.
yes.
Okay, and they are the main characters of your storyline.
Yes, right now,
Okay.
yes. Even if in our story there will be other important characters that will be revealed along the way, and also our main characters may go through some transformations too, so they may not always look the same. Barbaro, for example, may acquire new weaponry, armors, clothing. I mean, he walks barefoot all the time. So maybe in a very icy environment, he could get something to cover himself.
And to discover the story and the development of the story, what is the on your website on Formo Toys will be revealed more about the storyline?
Eventually, yes. Yeah. I mean, we have plans to have something on the packaging about the characters, of course. We can't say exactly what and how yet, but we will reveal something first through our social media presence and our website, and especially our newsletter. That's the main point where we reveal new stuff. Like right now, we are covering all social media with showcasing the figures, but for completely new information, our newsletter will come first.
Okay, the people that want to get a newsletter, the people needs to go to your website.
Just to go formotoys.com, and there is a box to sign up for the newsletter. We know that if you sign up for the newsletter, you're very interested in the toys, and that is extremely helpful for us to know how many people are actually interested in our toys. Because if you're very interested, if you sign up for the newsletter, then we know we can make this happen or not. Because of course, this is going to be a pre-order. We have a minimum order number that we have to meet. If we reach that minimum, the toys will be produced. If we don't, unfortunately, we won't be able to do them. But I'm very, very confident we can do it, because there is a lot of interest. The number of people that already subscribe to the newsletter is overwhelming, and there are distributors that want and shops that wants our figures. So I almost have no doubts that this will happen. But still, we have to go through this test. The thing that we're not doing an actual crowdfunding through Kickstarter, for example, it's because of our confidence in this brand. That by the response we got, we're confident that we'll be able to do it. So I'm picking up the other.
So the date of the pre-order is not official yet.
No, it will be late January. That we say that since the beginning. It's going to be late January. We are now in the process of finalizing the date. We will announce it through our newsletter first. So the people that subscribe to the newsletter will be the first to know about it. We're working on a surprise for the pre-order that we hope we can make it happen because we want to make it something special. So we're working on it. We can't say anything yet because it's not just about keeping the secret. It's also about that we're still like finalizing numbers and costs, etc. It's all happening very fast, and it was a new idea we had after Lucca, and we hope we can make it happen. And I think people will love it because what we did in Lucca was appreciated by a lot of fans. They loved our display. So, okay, how can we make these people happy with an idea we have? And so we'll see. I think we'll be ready to announce it very soon. Hopefully before Christmas, we want to announce the date.
So guys, stay tuned and activate the newsletter. And also, guys, to all of you that watch right now, I saw some questions. In the last 10 minutes, Emiliano will be ready to ask your questions. So to continue to put the question in the chat, and later, if he can, because he can reveal everything, but if he can, he answer your question. So because he saw some interesting about the castle, Dragonstone, and some stuff like that. And go to the other, I believe it is Karem is the name of this guy that you have right now.
Yeah, I have Karem here.
Cool. This one looks like a genie or a magician.
Yeah, he is a genie.
Okay, and this one is something different. That something that we haven't actually in action figure in the Master of Universe land, for example. Is something totally different. So, what is the inspiration to create this character, for example?
Well, I mean, you're perfectly right. Like on saying that these are kind of new ideas. Well, not styles, but real that were not explored in some of the 80s toys that were inspired by. Because this is also the fundamental idea behind Lords of Power. Lords of Power is a big what if. What if we kept getting those kind of figures and toys in the 80s? What if they never stopped? And the cool thing about Masters of the Universe and Thundercats and all these other lines and Remco figures was that every year you were getting new ideas, new characters. And that was one of the greatest part of these lines. You were getting like a new He-Man or maybe a new Black Star, but also you were going to get a bunch of new characters. And you were going to discover what these new characters were. It wasn't just like a rehash of the previous year. And the creative minds behind these toys in the 80s were just cranking up all these new ideas every year, new designs, new concepts, exploring everything under the sun to give us new characters. So we wanted to do exactly the same. Bring new meat to the table, basically. Cool. Not just we love the format of these figures. We love the concept behind the figures, the general concept, but we want to explore new worlds. Some are a bridge between these old worlds that we knew and these new ones, like Barbaro. Barbaro is very basic, of course. I'm picking it up right now, and here's Barbaro, our hero, and that is a starting point. you can say it's plain. It's very simple, but that's what it's supposed to be. Is this entrance in this world, and
Yeah.
from here we will just go in a bunch of different directions. I hope everything will be creative and funny enough to be appreciated by the fans. But again, this is just the beginning. So yeah, for Karem, it was really like, oh, we never had a character like Karem. We never had an Arabic guy.
Yes, exactly.
So or an Indian guy. I mean, it's not like a defined ethnicity. I like also that, but it represents a bunch of stuff that never existed in those old toys. And so we love to bring also the colors, the color scheme, the gimmick of having him in translucent plastic and not just
Oh, cool.
a regular. Yeah, it'll be translucent because it's a magic entity. It's not just a regular human. We'll find
Also,
out.
this one is a something new because translucent figure at the time it was difficult to find at the time in the 80s.
Yeah, they were using this gimmick a lot. So I mean, personally, I'd love to use it a lot more, and I think we'll do it because it's fun. They look great to me, and now that we can play with the colors and have all sorts of stuff, it will be just very fun to do it.
Very cool.
And I mean, we kind of revealed in our last video. It has a little surprise. Let me see. Yeah, it has a little surprise. The turban will be removable.
Wow.
And
I love it. And there is a third eyes.
Yeah, it has its third magic eye under the turban.
I believe that this third eye is related with something about his character, his gimmick, his toy, and his big story, I believe.
Yes, it will. And I have his weapon somewhere here. Oh, yeah. There's...
Cool. Also, this one is a typical genie stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of silly, but it's fun. Like, what weapon we will do it, and so we do a scepter with a lamp, a magic lamp on it, because I think stuff like this has the naivety of all toys. You know, they weren't like too serious about stuff. They were just, you know, throwing in a bunch of ideas and see what happens, and we kind of like to reproduce that.
Yes, I think I'm when you talk about that, I'm thinking about also what can be your feelings about that, because you start with your talent in general. Now you try to find your way. Then you start to work with the company that produce toys, and now finally you start your project. So I think maybe this is the better moment of your life as an artist, because
it's the busiest for sure. It's like I'm doing another full-time job on top of my full-time job, which is design toys for other companies. So it's madness to also do this. Also because it's the three of us right now. We're getting little help on certain things, but mostly it's us doing everything. I mean, everything, like marketing, promotion, engineering, talking to the factory, taxes, trademarking, everything. So just three guys, it's a lot of work.
Yes, I can wonder that also, because in general the bad side to create art, also to publish a novel like I did with my I have a publisher for that. But there is to an artist, the better way is just to create, but you need to promote that. You need someone that working of the distribution, this stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the bad side of that, because in general, an artist is not very good to do something like promote or marketing stuff. No, needs someone that work for that. So if you got a good partnership for that, is a better way to do that, because you split the work in different sides for the people that
Yeah.
are good in this side. But is maybe I think that the people that the collectors, no, me, I understand that because I'm an artist too, and I work in the other type of art. I know what is the back, the something behind the scene to do
Mhm.
a movie, to do a song. There is a lot of work, especially a lot of trouble that you can find your way, because it's not easy do something as an artist and uh, transform your art in your job, in your day
Yeah,
job. It's a
absolutely.
it's a big deal, and is a difficult journey. But I believe the people that collecting toys sometimes don't understand that behind a toy, because a toy is an action figure is a piece of art. I think that, and they don't know very well what is behind the scene, what how is art produce that, create that,
Mhm.
because it's not just have an idea, but also find a way to transform the dream to reality. So it's a
Yeah,
strong work.
yeah. It's yeah, and I totally understand. I mean, collectors are not supposed to know everything. I mean, I never suppose that or never assume that collectors and customers know what's going on behind the scene. What I'd like to see is a more open mind about what they don't know. Like, collectors should understand that there is a lot of stuff they don't know about creating toys. They're not supposed to know this stuff, but accepting that they don't know a lot of stuff will be better, because they will be open to understand why certain things happen. Why, like, we will have to do repaints of these figures. For sure, we'll have repaints. We'll try to make them right. Like, if we do a repaint, it will possibly not be something random. It will be something that fit our story. It will be something that appeals our customer. We won't just do a pink Barbaro and sell it like this is full of love Barbaro and sell it like that. Or maybe yes. I mean, if people want a pink Barbaro, we'll do it. But I mean, we will try to make things that make sense. But it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary for us to do repaints and offer them. It's absolutely not necessary for us to do exclusives for shops and online retailers or for conventions. I know people like, oh, you're going to do this stuff too. Yes, because also it's a sign that we're successful, and it's what is going to keep this brand alive. That's my cat over there. Sorry.
This no problem, no problem, because it's typical of my interview. A few weeks ago, I did my third interview with Nate Birch, and during the
Uh-huh.
interview, his cat jumped on his shoulder and
Yeah,
become the protagonist of the show. So
yeah. I have this little fella all time
cool.
with me.
Is a male or a female?
It's a male. The other lady that you saw over there is his mom,
Oh,
and
cool.
a little. It's not
I haven't cat because I have a pug, a dog. So,
okay.
but he's in the other room. Now he's sleeping in front of the fireplace. He's better.
Good. Yeah.
I think that there is another character. I saw a character with a green skin. Do you have the
Yeah, we
prototype?
have. Well, that's I saved it in for not exactly the last one, but the last of the six figures. Um, the adversary. The adversary is very important to us because this is an original design by Mark Taylor. for those that don't know, Mark Taylor is the guy that designed He-Man and Skeletor and Beastman and Man-at-Arms. He created Masters of the Universe. So to have an original design by him in our line is absolutely wonderful. We got his permission to use his design, and we are absolutely thrilled to bring back something from the past that never saw the light of the day, and it's by Mark Taylor.
This is a big deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm like amazed that we are able to do it. I'm super happy that we're bringing Mark's creations back to life. It's just wonderful.
I believe that this figure will be very popular also because of that.
Yeah, and of course it shows that it's by Mark. I mean, I don't want to like crap on my own designs for the other figures, but this is just wonderful, and we have others by Mark in the future.
Cool, very cool. I love it. And also, this one is swappable like the others.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the pieces I show you before, they were all parts for him.
Are the
yeah, like this forearm is the same. It's just unpainted, but it comes apart.
What was your feeling when you got this prototype for the first time?
The product, seeing your creations in 3D it's always, well, the first time at least is when you realize, wow, this works. I love it. As a fan of this kind of figures, if I see these prototypes and immediately think, I want that figure, I want this in my collection. So it's the time when you get the feeling if you're doing it right or not, basically. And when I saw this, I said, okay, we're doing this right. This is what fans will love in this line. So I was absolutely delighted. Valerio Bonfantino, who painted our prototypes, did an amazing job. And I'm really happy with how they came out. I was able to do some great photography with them. And I'm just amazed. In person, everybody says in person they're even better than what you see on the screen right now. Just the feeling of the physical figure is something different than just seeing a picture.
Yes, that's right. I understand that feeling because, for example, every time one of my book comes out, when I got the first copy, I have the same feelings because finally you thought, wow, it's real what I did, not just an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's time to take a look with some questions, if it's okay for you. Because
and then maybe we'll look at the last one later.
Or maybe one question at the same time. In the middle, we can do that. This one for Dai Kwan Melan. Wow, sculpt is amazing, done by the Three Horsemen. Just the Rogers with Barber looks like Frank Fanzetta's Conan Berserker painting. Maybe a dead dealer inspired figure to complement it.
Well, there are a bunch of questions, but no, the Four Horsemen didn't sculpt this. These are sculpted by Per Browner, my friend Per Browner. Per actually sculpted some Masters of the Universe classics. He sculpted Katrina and he sculpted Roboto in Club Grayskull line. So you are already familiar with Per works. And is doing an incredible job bringing my sketches to life. Is really good at that. I don't know how much you can appreciate from here, from the camera, the way he's sculpting the faces of these figures, but they're absolutely amazing.
Yes, it is. It's very cool. I love this 80s vibes that you put in this line, but at the same time, something new in the same time. I like this idea to
Yeah.
the present and the past and the future in the same time. No?
Yes, exactly.
And when
Yeah.
you create this, you start in your mind this idea. You wrote before the story, and then you start to design some characters, or you start with the characters and then with the story.
Yeah, it's honestly it started first with the characters and the design, and then creating the story around them. Because these, as I was telling at the beginning, these are a bunch of ideas that were laying around that we put together and created a cohesive worlds for them to live in. But they were just designs that we had in mind that we wanted to use. So yeah, in this time, the figures came first. It's possible the more we develop the story, the more ideas will come from the story. It's very possible. But this, like a very fluid process, is happening. It's not.
It's like to do a comparison, because I did many songs in the past. Sometimes the song start with the music, and sometimes with the lyrics. Or there's not a typical rule how to start with the
Yeah,
a song. For example, depend of the inspiration of of many stuff that you can, because the in general the creation of an artist. Not following the same rules every time.
yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
different. Depend of the character, depend of the or your feelings also of the time. Another question by Sean. Sean asking question: does the beginning reference a creation myth like in the beginning as in Big Bang?
Uh, mm, no. This beginning is just like the start of our story. It doesn't have like there isn't like an event called at the beginning inside the story. There is something else, but no, it's not. It's not like that.
And now, because I saw another question by Sean about the Castle Dragonstone, I don't try to put you to reveal something, but just to speculation. This Dragonstone Castle, I saw that was the background for your show on Luca Comics, your display. Was just a background, or maybe a teaser for something in the future? Is everything going well?
There is no secret there about this. If things works out, if this line is successful, if there is enough money, of course we will love to do a full playset with that
Cool,
castle.
very
Yes,
cool.
I have it in my mind. I know what I want to look like. Well, you've seen the design basically because I drew it like a playset, and I know what the gimmicks will be. I have some ideas of the interiors. Um, as you know, doing a playset is extremely expensive. But if this line is successful, why not? We want to have a playset. We want to have vehicles. We want to have um, beasts and steeds and mounts. We want to do like deluxe figures that are bigger, smaller figures that are cheaper, but you can populate this world with all sorts of creatures. Um, it's just we have to start somewhere. The beginning is where we start, and we test what the market is for this idea. Um, I I'm kind of confident there is a market big enough for this to start, to expand, and to bring all this other stuff that we have in mind in. It's I must say one of the difficult parts right now is to just limit ourselves and not think too much about what's coming next. Like we have to focus on what we're doing right now because, as I said, there is so much to do, like setting up the online shop, making sure every video comes out at the right time every week, uh, making sure our information are coming out are consistent. And so, and from time to time, we think, oh, but it will be so cool to do this next. and maybe in a couple of years to also do this figure or this expansion of the line. And we can't jump on that right away because there is so much to do before that. And of course, we have to hope that everything works out to be able to also work on this.
Yes, finger crossed for that. I think also that is important for a project like this one. Stay connect with your audience, because the connection
Yeah.
with the audience, also to understand their feelings, what they like, could be interesting also to find a way also for the future of this line at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things we're thinking of doing is doing an online survey very soon, basically as soon as I have time to work on it. But we would like to have people that are following us on social media and our newsletter to fill this this survey, and where we'll ask a bunch of questions about what they will like, what kind of products they will like to purchase in the future, how much product they will like to purchase. You know, basically a marketing research, so we can understand our audience better. Because this is us doing what we like, but we have to understand if what we like is meeting the expectation of our customers.
Cool. And I think it's time to see the other prototype. There is another one.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so the line is done by 6 figures, but every figure will come with 1 or 2 extra pieces of another figure. In our story, the good guys and the bad guys are after these divine armors. We'll explain more what these divine armors are. But these are powerful armors that have the god's power. And when our heroes or our villain wears parts of these armors, or even the full armors, they'll get incredible powers. The way we are portraying these armors in our toy line, because the way the figures are constructed, is that we don't have actual armors. We have parts basically of another figure. And like, let's say in Barber, you may get the arm and the forearm for the divine arm, right? So of course you can replace Barbaro's arm with the divine armor arm, so he's wearing the armor, so to speak.
Yeah.
So by collecting all 6 figures, you will get all the parts that combine and creates the first divine armor, because this is the first line, the first wave, and there will be the first divine armor.
Cool. But so it's like a build a figure, like a little bit.
It's like a build a figure, same concept. We cannot use the build a figure name because that's copyrighted by us.
Yes.
But it's the same concept, like Marvel Legends or DC Universe use the same concept. Yeah. So with by the price of 6 figures, you will actually get 7 figures.
And what is the name? The name of this character?
Oh no, it's not a character. It's supposed to be an empty armor.
Okay.
Or there is one of the other guys inside it. But it's as a toy, it works like a different character. Of course, like you can totally ignore our story and give this guy a name and use it as a character. Of course, what people want to do with it, it's fine. In our idea, this divine armor.
Okay, it's like the one of your characters. They use the complete armor.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yes, yeah.
And this armor is powerful, gives some power, magical power to the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It gives this god's-like powers. Certain.
I like that also because it's not like a build a figure, because it's different, because you don't create a character, you create a complete armor. So it's a different concept.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. And cool design also. I understand also. I try also to wonder what is the process to create this one, the maybe the different tests that you did to go to the final concept. No, what is the
These were,
work in progress behind that?
well, okay, I must say, I mean, other characters like Pantera and Karen were created for these lines, unlike Derlock or the Adversary that came from previous designs. But Karam and Pantera are part of the process of creating characters with the tooling we are creating for this wave. So they kind of came out of this process. Uh, this is the only figure that was thought from the beginning as part of this line and was just created for the purposes that it has. And I mean, everybody says it looks like very influenced by Jack Kirby. And it is, absolutely. Uh, it is not a copy of any of Jack Kirby design, but I studied Kirby design, his armors, like his Thor characters and Fourth World characters, all his machinery, all his ideas, and I really tried to convey the same patterns, the same style by in creating these armors. I designed a few others already, and I'm very glad that it shows. Like somebody can say, "Oh, but this looks like something that Kirby designed," which is a great compliment to me. It's not copied by him by any that he did, but it looks like almost like Jack Kirby did it. So I know that I kind of like I did a good job because that was my purpose in creating him, and I
Very cool.
absolutely love how it looks in
Yes,
real
it's
life.
very detailed. This
Yeah, and in
armor.
fact, this is the most expensive figure for us to produce because it has a lot of paint applications, a lot more
Yes,
paint applications, and
very
it's
cool.
all unique tooling. So right now, this is the only
So
figure that uses this.
so in each wave will be an armor to create like this one.
Yes, yeah. May not be every wave because we may also do something else, but yes, wave one as this one, wave two will have another divine armor for sure.
Cool. I like this idea. This idea to create to give more than just one figure for
Yeah.
each figure that you got. Another question for Sean: is the divine armor ever mask that opens to reveal a face?
No, unfortunately not, because it's supposed to be empty, an empty helmet, so it doesn't reveal a face. But in reality, this is done. It will be produced as two parts because of the way it's sculpted. You see, there are these empty spaces here because of the way it's sculpted. It needs to be two parts that are glued together at the factory. So it's possible to replace in another figure or something else or another version of the armor later. It's possible to replace the front with the mask with something else. It may be an open mask revealing, I don't know, Barbara's face, for example, while he's wearing it. It's stuff that is possible if we are able to do new tooling with it for it.
Cool. So the other question maybe there is a comments by Justin. Are you familiar with Mythic Legions and have you gotten any advice from any other companies?
Of course, I'm familiar with Mythic Legion because I know the Four Horsemen. Josh Van Pelt is a good friend of them, like me, and he sees them very often. Um, well, yeah, I mean, we got a company wouldn't advise another company. Of course, that wouldn't really make sense, to give advices to a competitor. But I mean, people in the industry, yes, they gave us very sound advices. Just today, I spent day with a whole friend here from Italy, a guy that works in publishing, but he has a very marketing oriented mind, and so he gave me a lot of feedback, a lot of things to think about, a lot of suggestions. So yeah, we get a lot of feedback for people all around the industry all the time. I must say about Lords of Power, not many, because looks like everybody's is loving what they are as they are. So it's not like, well, you should change that or do things differently, because they think we're kind of doing a good job already with them.
And I have another question. How difficult is find a place in the toy business? Because we talked earlier about the competition between the competitor, and how difficult is find your place inside this toy business?
Well, we'll find out. Basically,
Okay.
we'll find out. Like, we started with just the idea, let's do what we like. And I think by doing Lords of Power first, we're talking to an audience that we know very well, an audience that follows me already. I mean, part of the audience already knows my work and follows me. And I know this audience. I know what they like because what I like. So I'm entering the industry as a company, not as a freelance designer, kinda through a door that I know very well, and hopefully that will be the right way to do it. Let's get in with something that is familiar in a way to the customers we're looking for, and then we can expand from there and create other lines, other figures, other toys that other people may like.
Cool, cool. I think is a big deal to realize something like that. Also, accept also the challenge inside of this journey of this
Yeah.
way, because it's. I think, as I told you before, I told you every of you guys, be an artist and work with your art is not an easy process, because it's to escape the possibility that your dream turn in an illusion. You need to work so hard and also find a good way to find your way in general, because it's not
Mhm.
easy. But I think that you have a good background for that, because you work for many companies, so you know how works this world. And so
It's interesting because I know my job well as a designer, but everything else, it has been a great learning process so far. Like, I had the feeling of some of the stuff, like the production process, but I never actually worked with a factory. I never worked about producing a toy. So we're learning a lot, and this was one of our goals. Let's do something and learn this job, learn how to do toys from scratch. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I knew something, but I'm adding a lot of knowledge, and it's also part of the fun, discovering all the factors involved in producing a toy.
cool. Now we are over 1 hour, so it's time to end it. But when you have more details or something new, if you want to come back, I'm here for you also, because as I told you, I like to support with my channel, with my show,
Mhm. Yes,
people
yeah.
like you that create something new, because I think it's important to have something new in the toy business, and not just the new version of old stuff again, again, again.
Mhm.
Something new is important also, because imagine the kids of today in the future needs to remember something new of their here of this era. No,
Yeah.
so, so it's because without that, in the future we have only guys that collecting the same stuff of Transformer, Power Rangers, or of Master of the Universe. Now it's time for something new. As
Yeah.
and not too many companies do that. Only few people do that. Try following this way to create something new. So you are
Yeah.
welcome, my friend.
Thank you. I wanted, before we close, I've been quickly browsing the questions. I know there are always some basic questions that people ask that wants to know about. So I wanted to give a very quick recap about this so people know. So basic questions everybody asks: how much these figures will cost? There will be $30. This is our suggested retail price. $30 each. We'll be selling first on our website directly, and so we will be shipping them directly from us, I think. There won't be a Kickstarter. We will just do a pre-orders with the goal to make them happen. So it will be on our website at first. Then, yes, they will be available through other retailers. I don't have all these details finalized yet, like when, who is going to carry them. We are working on them. We can't announce anything yet, but yes, you will be able to purchase from us and from other retailers if that's your preference. We're cooking up some surprise, as I was saying, so we'll make the first purchase sweeter, possibly. But yeah, we will have more information on that hopefully soon. The best way to know, to stay up to date, to have all information instead of trying to catch up with social media every day, is to subscribe to our newsletter, and you can do that by going to our website, formotoys.com. There's a little box, you put your email address in it and subscribe to our newsletter. I'm sure we will send some recap of everything we've been doing very soon.
Cool. So guys, subscribe to the newsletter to don't miss the news, the upcoming news, because more is coming, and support my friends, Formo Toys and Laws of Power, because it's something new and it's something special. And now I go to the piano to say goodbye to all of you guys. Christmas is around the corner. Yes, my friend, and also Lords of Power is coming. So stay tuned for more updates. Subscribe the newsletter and support this project. Thank you to all of you guys. So thank you so much, Emiliano.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you guys. Don't cry, and don't forget that Emiliano will return for more in the future with Laws of Power. Thank you. Goodbye to all of you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having